Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. Today and tomorrow, I want to talk to you about a couple of things I've been doing this year. And I was going to wait until like the summertime, like give it 6 months and then talk to you about it. Because I felt like that would have a better impact. But then I thought about when I was doing, coming from my medication, I felt like giving regular updates was valuable to me as well as others. Lots of others have seen those update kind of videos. So I thought it'd be fine to do a 2-month talk and then come back in the summer and then maybe next year, a whole year, if I can succeed to doing this for a year. But two things I've started to do this year, and the first one, the one we're going to talk about today, is keeping a logbook. I think I kind of mentioned this, but I didn't fully talk about it. I bought a bunch of field notes books. These are just little notebooks. I used to make my own, and I decided that for my time and whatever, just buying these would be sufficient. And I got a little leather slipcase so I could put it in my pocket and it doesn't get destroyed. These are just little cheap notebooks. They're not really intended to be, well, they're intended to be whatever they are. You use it for whatever you want to use it for. I'm using it as a logbook. And I'll tell you what a logbook is. It is not a diary. It is not a journal. It is not even a bullet journal, which has been all the rage lately. For me, a logbook is literally like a captain's log. This is just things I've done throughout my day, each day. This is not a checklist to say I did these things or you know, to set my day's plan. This is not a planner. There's no future logs in here. I don't predate anything. This is just a daily record of things I've done, people I've talked to, places I've gone, meals I've eaten, that sort of stuff. I treat it kind of like a watch log from when I was in the military, like a fire watch log. You would have entries in your log. You would put in a time and what happened and whatever. I kind of treat it that way, but it's a little simpler than that, right? I'm not putting times in here. I don't normally fill this out until the evening. There will be times when I put some things in here throughout the day. But so this first book, this is January 1st to February 17th. So these, I think there's 48 pages. So each one of these will last about a month and a half if you do it every day. And all I'm doing is recording, you know, here, my first entry, my first day, I talked about, I slept in, which was weird because I don't normally sleep in, but I had whiskey and stayed up late the night before because it was New Year's Eve, right? I helped clean up the basement, which we needed to do again. We needed to on a regular basis. I worked on designs for a key rack, which I think I showed to you. I think we talked about that rack. It was just a hat rack and key rack. And then for dinner, we had biscuits and gravy. I did not put my lunch in here, which is weird. And then, this was a Monday, and then my daughter came back that night. Yeah, and then I started and read a book, The Narrow Road Between Desires. And so that's it. That's a day, you know, looking at a more recent, let's see, what's a good recent entry here? Wednesday of last week, so 1 week ago, I started to record my morning exercise and meditations and my daily walks, just putting check marks if I did them that day. So it's a tiny bit of a task list, but that's because I started recording things in here. I made up little abbreviations. So I have an L for what I ate for lunch and a D for what I ate for dinner. I have a W if I worked on writing that day. I have a B if I finished a book. I have SF if I finished some short fiction. So I have little codes like that. And instead of having lines for my exercising and all that sort of stuff, I just put it across the top. Like I exercised, whatever. Talked about my back pain. I've been in back pain for a while. We've talked about it. So I've been tracking my back pains each day to see where I'm at. There was thunderstorms and rain all morning. I don't know why I put that in here. I felt like that was important, but also that's why I didn't get to walk that day. I did my exercise and I did my meditations. I researched multi-site search, which is a WordPress thing I need to try to figure out. I got my coworker's Oz branch working, which is the software that I work on at work. We got it moved up to PHP 8.2, which we've been needing to do for a long time. For lunch, I had leftover penne and potato chips. I like potato chips. I have them with everything. I have an armpit rash. Don't know where that came from. I took my kid to softball and theater practice. We had biscuits and gravy for dinner. That's interesting. And then I got I did a Daily Shit episode about rival rails being rejected. And then I finished Salem's Lot from Stephen King. Gave it a 4 out of 5 in my book. So that's just like a simple little record. And the reason that I'm doing this, so I kind of used to do this. I've had journals my whole life that I've tried to write thoughts and whatever in. I used to carry a little book, books this size that I made. It started with those little, like the miniature composition books. I used to carry one of those around. And I would just put notes in there and keep phone numbers, keep item numbers, keep, when I paid bills. I've been putting bills in here also. When I pay the bill, I put it in here, how much it was, whatever. And it was just a way for me to keep track of things so that if somebody asked, hey, did you do a thing? I'd go, oh yeah, I did that this day. And I liked having that kind of CYA, I guess, but also it's not really for other people. It can be used for other people, but it's more for me. It's more for keeping track of what's been going on in my life. If I want to know the last time I made chili for dinner, I can look it up. I know. I can look through the book and find the L and, oh, I made it this day. If I want to know the last time I played a board game, I can look through the book. I don't think I've played any board games in February. I have been very not playing board games lately. Yeah, I'm not seeing any board games in this month so far. Might have played some at the beginning of the month, but definitely not since this book started, which was the 18th. Let's see. When is the last time I played a board game, guys? Do you guys know? I think I told you. You could probably find it faster than I could because you could search. But that's not the point. The point is not to be searchable. The point is I find that writing stuff down is a good way for me to remember that I did something. And sometimes, oh yeah, I played Letter Jam and Sagrada on February 7th at game night. Writing stuff down often commits it to memory for me in a better way. Or just being able to see, oh, I didn't walk this day and I know why or what or however, I have like a little bit of a memory bank that can unlock other things. So I don't need to put everything in here. I don't detail my day by the minute or by the hour or whatever. I just put big picture stuff, and usually that's enough to trigger like, oh yeah, we did the thing and this and that. We talked about this, or we had a thing about that. And I find that the information retrieval is very good. The other thing is, I've been trying to distance myself from my phone. Literally, it's over there. I don't want to keep track of things in my phone, and I've never been able to do that very well. People track their board game plays in their phone and their books they read. I don't do that very well. I just, for some reason, forget to pull it out. But when I have this little thing that I fill out every day with everything else anyway, I can now go through here, find all those B's, and at the end of the year, I can compile a list of all the books I read, or whatever. I can compile a list of all the games I played. I can compile a list of all the authors I read this year. I have some sort of reference to the things that I did. I saw last year my friend Ignacy, said he read X number of books, X number of comic books, played this many games. I'd never had a way to know those things. I'd say, well, I read about 20 books last year or whatever. So keeping a little logbook is a great way to kind of put memories in order. That's the thing. A lot of times my memories and I don't know, was this last year, the year before, I think it was around this time, whatever. Everything gets out of order after a little while. And I mean a very little while, like within a couple of weeks, memories start getting out of order and I don't know if I did this thing first and whatever. And having this help me put things in order helps me remember better. So we're going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep going, and we'll come back in the summer and we'll talk about it again. Because, like I said, my intention was to talk about it after 6 months, but I think now is a good time. So, do you keep any sort of journal? And it doesn't have to be like this. It could be, do you track your games? Or do you track the movies that you watch? Do you, like, is there anything that you keep track of somewhere, and how do you do it? And does it become compulsory after a while for you? That's my problem. It'll be compulsory for like a week, and then I'll forget about it. And then it'll be, and then it's a month later, and I'm trying to remember and backlog stuff, and then at that point, it's like, I can't do this. I have no idea. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is tumescent. It is an adjective meaning becoming or already engorged, full, swollen, or rigid. After the hurricane, our Florida compound was flooded by the tumescent Intracoastal Waterway. Tumescent. Tumescent. I can think of other things that can become engorged and whatever. I'm not. You know what? Come on.